Hey everyone, this is Kevin Shriver from Downtown Pittsburgh Dogs. Hope you all are doing very well. Thanks as always for watching. Here with a quick chat on talking about some fearful dogs and fearfulness in dogs and how that relates to training. We have clients and we have individuals, and you all know of dogs that are fearful, or we would label as fearful. You know, the opposite of a fearful dog is the aggressive dog. The better word is more friendly. The dog likes to approach things, whether it's people or dogs, it wants to approach it. Depending on the speed of which that approach happens, that's where the difference between friendly and aggressive happens. And if the dog, aggressive obviously means the dog may be trying to assert its dominance, or kind of take control of the situation or establish pack hierarchy. We're not going to talk about that right now in this video. We're talking about the other end, the fearful side, the dog that doesn't want to approach anything. And typically how this shows itself is the dog just is very reactive to external environmental challenges or things that come up, stimuli that come up. And then it typically runs away. It either freezes or it flights, there's freeze, fight, or flight. Those are the three options. The dog will typically, flight. It will run away or not want to approach things, or it will freeze up. A lot of people have concerns about training, about dog training, or establishing disciplines or boundaries for the dog. Because if a dog is fearful, they'll be like, well, my dog's fearful. I don't want to train it, or I don't want to do it because it's going to make it worse, or it's going to scare the dog even more. This is a little bit of a myth, in so much that what is happening with the dog being scared typically, and this is not all the time, but most of the time, when dogs are fearful and are reacting to some type of external stimuli, what is happening is the dog is deciding, it's looking out into the world and then deciding on what it should do. So it's consulting itself as opposed to consulting their pack hierarchy, which would be their leader or another dog or someone above them. And this is a leadership challenge. This is a human challenge. It's not typically the individual dog's fault on this. A lot of times we don't set boundaries for dogs. We don't ask the dog to pay attention. And that will create challenges, because then the dog, and if we don't have a strong presence or a strong personality, the dog will just decide that they are, they just don't need to, they don't need to consult a human or the human leader or the handler for advice on a situation. And so their reaction is to either, freeze, flight, or fight. In the case of the fearful dog, they are looking out in the world, they're getting some stimuli back, and they're like, nope, I don't want this, I'm going to run away. Most of the time, the dog is not paying attention to the human handler. And this is, getting the right type of leash is not going to solve this. This is where you need to get training for your dog. And you need to work on attention-getting behaviors and training that gets the dog's attention, and rewarding the dog for giving you eye contact. That's one of the basic things that you would be doing with a good trainer. Is a trainer would be working with your fearful dog on not a good trainer will not give it more force, will not give it more harder boundaries, will not give it a really hard leash to use, give you a prong collar. Prong collars do work for certain things, but you're not going to put it on and be like, and pull the dog, yank the dog. If you're working with a trainer that's kind of got a yank and crank mentality, it's not going to work. It's not going to turn the fearful dog into an assertive or submissive dog, or a dog that pays attention. So you have to work with a trainer that is going to work on rewarding the dog for getting its attention, its eye contact. Because if we start doing that, we can start to erode away the decision-making process of the dog having to make decisions, so that it can look to the handler first. And when it looks to the handler first, the humans have to be in control, and the leader, they get to say to the dog, it's okay, you can say hi, or sit, stay. Again, giving the dog a command This is the human leadership side of training. So therefore, you need to be working with a fearful dog. Training will work for a fearful dog, and you actually need more training for a fearful dog. However, as I mentioned, the training should not be, kind of this force on force, yank and crank. Do not work with, you can work with whoever you want. You are going to get very poor results with that, but you need to work with a trainer that understands rewarding the eye contact and the attention. You need attention, getting behaviors, and then also that you having a process with that training that you can easily repeat in distracting environments. So you may be practicing something when it's in a nice calm room or facility, that's fine, but you need to have a process that you can repeat in the external stimuli that are challenging for the dog. So it's a little bit of a process, definitely doable in getting the dog's attention. So not impossible, for sure. We've worked with a ton of dogs that are fearful, and getting them to pay attention to the handler. It ends up being much more fun for everybody, just because, as you can imagine, if the dog is fearful, they're running, they're pulling, they're running in front of you, running behind you, they're jumping when they shouldn't be jumping, you're not paying attention, you drop the leash, the dog runs away, afraid to return, afraid to recall. So you just set yourself up for a lot of challenges if you don't do training with a dog that is fearful, or a better way to put that is the dog is initially, it's not consulting you, the handler, for any type of leadership advice. It's deciding inside of itself in a millisecond. I'm afraid, made a sound, something's not here, I'm going to jump, I'm going to run away, I'm not going to pay attention. And what we want to do is get that focus away from the external stimuli back to us as the handlers, and then we have the capacity to lead them confidently and assertively into different situations. If you guys have any questions or comments on this topic, please leave a comment below. This is Kevin Shriver from Downtown Pittsburgh Dogs. Thanks as always for watching.